Hi, this is Jennifer with City Farmhouse Antiques, and I want to share with you today our find of the week, and I'm going to talk to you about shaving mugs. This is actually part of my grandfather's collection, and he collected a lot of different shaving mugs over the years, and there were a lot of different types, but if you're not familiar with them, they were actually used between like the 1870s and 1920s, when there were a lot of people migrating here to the United States from different countries. And there were a lot of new occupations starting, and there were so many new things starting here in America. And so if you think what life was like during that time period, it wasn't near as easy to shave for men as it is now. Of course, there were no electric razors, and lighting was poor, and you actually had to go boil your water. I mean, they didn't have hot water out of the tap then that we take for granted today. And they'd have to boil their water on a wooden stove, come back, and they would have to pour water. This is a scuttle mug into this area here where they could dip their brush. And then, of course, they could shave. But if you had 10 cents to go to the barber had hot towels. The barber would do it all for you. And thus, these mugs became really popular. And the barbers, thinking outside the box, thought, wouldn't it be great if people could have their own mugs? And so you see us going from like the scuttle mugs, which have this design, which holds the soap in the top, and you dip your brush in here in the hot water, and then of course you would, use the soap to foam up and then shave, to mugs that have names on them, because the barbers, you could buy your own mug and the barber would keep it there at the barber shop. And so people had started developing, rashes, really from infections. And so they thought that this would make it a little bit better. Of course, they didn't know that's what it was from at that time. But they thought that this would make it better to have their own mug. So people would have their mugs. So that's where you see them commonly with different names and things like that on them. And then they would keep coming back for their shave, so the barber would continue to make money and they'd have their own mug. And then you see that metal mugs were made that have like brush rest to keep a brush on and keep the hot water in there. You can see mugs that were hand painted, like this one, and this one was hand painted, but you can see, they've got nicks and they've got damage. They were used, and with the brush. There were also mugs with cars, different designs on them, different styles. These were considered decorative mugs, and they had flowers and different things on them, just decorative. Here you can see on this one a little bit of crazing, where you see that kind of crackly appearance, kind of giving you an idea of the age. It's an older, there you can see it a little bit better. Maybe not there, crazing on that piece, but they're very collectible, and people like to collect them because they're colorful. Here's a sample of another one with a car that's on it, just kind of the size and shape of a coffee mug. And then some were even, made out of wood. Here's a different one. So there were a lot of different types. Probably the most collectible of the shaving mugs are what we call the occupational mugs. And because we had so many different occupations starting at that time, I don't have one to show you, but the closest I can show you kind of is this one, but it would be something as simple as like a picture of a butcher, a picture of a horse farrier. Those mugs are very, very sought after today and are very collectible and very valuable and worth a lot of money, and can be into the thousands of dollars. So depending upon what kind of mugs you would want to collect, this can be kind of a very inexpensive hobby and a collector's item to something that's more upscale, if you were to collect things like occupational mugs, which are really kind of fun too. A lot of people keep them in cases, little stands that you can put on the wall that hold several mugs like they used to be held in the barber shop. There were also advertising mugs for Old Spice and different companies back then that are very collectible. And character mugs. Men like to collect a lot of these mugs because some of them are very masculine. They've got pictures of deer, pictures of hunting scenes. So there's all kinds of different types. But check us out on our website at www.cityfarmhouseantiques.com, where you can see more about our mugs as well as home decor and other great collectibles. And like us on Facebook.